my fellow Americans, last night when I spoke with you about the fall of Rome, I knew at that moment that troops of the United States and our allies were crossing the Channel in another and greater operation. It has come to pass with success thus far. And so, in this poignant hour, I ask you to join with me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization.
Million Air is really just chock full of aviators. I think there's a difference between a pilot and an aviator, right? I mean, you know, we're not here for the paycheck. We love the passion of aviation. We love what it does for commerce and general aviation, but we're also deeply connected to our past.
My name is Leonel Tercios.
David Hickman.
Allison Woolsey.
Carlos Genova.
Rob Cormier.
Jordan Sanders.
Chad Owens.
I'm Quentin Lawson, or Quentin Cruz, and I'm the Swiss Army knife of Million Air. Before Million Air, I was a B-52 crew chief in the Air Force. It took me across the world a few times and taught me a lot about older airplanes. The older bombers, they'll do what you want them to do. They just need a lot of love, and it'll show you that. So it teaches you a lot of patience and just a lot of appreciation for how things work.
It's a Wednesday, I'm at work. We're walking down, I'm going to get some coffee, and Roger stops me, and he doesn't do that often. And he looks and he goes, "Hey, you're working late tonight?" And that's all the information I had. Allie comes by and she says, "Tonight you need to go to Ellington Field. We're going to be looking at a plane over there." I walk into the hangar that night, and there the A-26 is.
Here is your A-26, a flying gun platform that lives up to its name, the Invader. You can call her an attack bomber, a medium bomber, or a fighter bomber. All three names fit. She's one of the most versatile weapons in the air. It carries more bombs farther and faster than any other medium bomber and doesn't sacrifice protective firepower to do it. The airplane is highly maneuverable, responds quickly to control pressures, and at her altitude cruises as fast as a fighter. Get that? As fast as a fighter.
The A-26 had a lot of variations. It was fast, it was powerful, and could be used for a number of things, you know. I'm John Kabasic. I'm 92 years old, and I was a crew member on a B-26. Probably the B-26 came through later. Modifications to an A and a B was slightly different, but it's hard to explain the differences that happened during that period of time. But ours was a B-26. The first time I flew in the B-26 was a thrill. It was exhilarating to feel the power of that aircraft. If you look up a B-26 that's loaded, the nose is full of machine guns and weaponry all over. The wings are loaded with weapons. And so between the bomb bay and the nose and the two gunners in the back, or the two guns in the back, wingtip tanks, it was just loaded with ammo. But the ones that we flew were pretty much of a bare airplane. Ours was exactly, I'd say, very close to the Million Airess. The base that we were assigned to was an old Luftwaffe base. I was assigned to Wiesbaden, Germany, and I arrived in Germany in 1953, probably January of '53, and was discharged from there in 1956.
The Douglas A-26 Invader was designated a B-26 between 1948 and 1965, later designated back to A-26. The two A-26 versions were the A-26B, the B gun nose version, housing 6 or 8 50 caliber machine guns. The A-26C was the glass nose. It was the fastest aircraft. It was capable of carrying a large bomb load. Americans have done a good job at preserving a lot of these old warbirds, but really the A-26, there's very few of them flying. And so this was such a rare and unique aircraft for these Europeans to see, something that played a part in World War II.
The B-26 was not very well known at the time, not near as well known as the B-17, the B-25, the B-29, which was later in Japan. So it was kind of an all-around plane. It had its purpose, which was that it could be loaded tremendously with weaponry.
Everyone we met had a story that connected them to an A-26. You know, it was in the shadows of that war, and didn't really share the limelight with the B-17s, the B-25s, the Mustangs, and the Spitfires. It was just in the background doing its work.
I was literally in the lobby of Million Air when the CEO of the museum approached me in the first week of May and said, "Gee, this aircraft is back available. Do we want to do something?"
For 4 long years, much of Europe had been under a terrible shadow. Free nations had fallen. Jews cried out in the camps. Millions cried out for liberation. Europe was enslaved and the world prayed for its rescue. Here in Normandy, the rescue began. Here the Allies stood and fought against tyranny in a giant undertaking unparalleled in human history. These are the men who took the cliffs. These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war. 40 summers have passed since the battle that you fought here. You were young the day you took these cliffs. Some of you were hardly more than boys with the deepest joys of life before you. Yet you risked everything here.
D-Day was the day that began saving the world. It was a very important day. We wanted to be a part of that. I was in Florida talking to Congressman Waltz, and he was expressing that he was going to jump out of one of the DC-3s at D-Day. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I love that. And then he further told me the story where 10 years ago, at the 70-year anniversary, when American Airlines donated the aircraft for the families and the vets, they had 8 aircraft. And this year, the 80-year anniversary, they couldn't fill one airplane. But it just hit me. It's like now, the 90-year anniversary, we're not going to have 110-year-old vets that are going to have the same appreciation or the same level. So it was just something that this company felt needed to take place. If we're going to make the crossing, it has to be now.
They want to do it like that again, or make it look like a. If he says yes, it's going to hit.
Roger has wild ideas, to say the least. He's a dreamer in my opinion, and
A little crazy, a little out there, but a lot of his ideas, there's a lot of purpose and why behind it, and it's deeply woven into his love for aviation and the love for aviation that our teammates have here at Million Airess.
He asked us, can we make this happen? Can we make D-Day?
And I think we all said, 3 weeks, Normandy, France, okay, let's do it.
This project, this mission, is really a testament to Million Airess' commitment to preserving history. That was at the foundation of what this journey was about. And so we wanted to bring this bomber back to life. She had been sitting, she had been a little bit neglected, and we wanted to tell her story. We wanted to connect her with the pilots and crew members that had flown her, maybe connecting them for the last time.
So we're losing our vets. And I thought, this is something, it's like a dream, to be able to, join the D-Day squadron, cross the Atlantic Ocean, do the Blue Spruce, follow their footsteps, honor our vets. And there were a lot of Warbird experts looking at us saying there's a lot to be done. Even some of our D-Day squadron folks that were flying over, they said, gee, Roger, we've been planning this trip for a year. We've been strategically placing oil and supplies and permits 6 months in advance. We're not sure it can be done.
From the moment we walked into the hangar at Ellington and the team was looking around, there was an energy that was happening. And that energy was excitement. It was fear. It was curiosity whether or not we could even pull it off. And I'm kind of, getting some footage of everybody walking around. And that was in the game plan phase. And so I took the footage and they said, hey, give us the weekend and hopefully we can get it back to Hobby where we can really get the work started.
For its test flight, it flew from Ellington to Hobby because we wanted to get it into our own house and where it could really dig into her. Rick Sharp and Al took off in it and flew it here.
The first time I've seen the A-26 land, pretty much getting ready to marshal it in, it just kind of brought back like a lot of old core memories. This is a bomber. It's kind of like, this is me. So it just felt natural just marshaling it in and reflecting back on like the times that I had before with another bomber.
We literally took all the maintainers in the room. We stacked hands and we said, are we going to do this? This is like a bit of putting a man on the moon. It's a high ask. We've got to do it safe. We've got to do it right. But can we do it?
They were at the top of their game. We take maintenance very seriously here. And me personally, when I sign my name to an aircraft, I basically sign it in blood. I'll fly on it with you if you need me to. I'll go wherever if it breaks down to fix it. I take pride in my work, and everybody here at Million Air does.
We had our final debrief with Mr. Woolsey up in his office. He was going over the whole route, what he was expecting, how he was going to try to achieve this getting to Normandy in 3 days before June 6th.
Roger gave us departure time of 8 a.m. The day before, we heard that, and I knew we still had quite a few things to touch up. And
an executive decision was taken by myself to push it one more day on the Saturday because she just was not ready. She wasn't working in all aspects, the last little final shakedown that we normally do for all our fleet aircrafts. So I pushed it one more day for Saturday departure.
We're getting ready to launch. It's a Saturday morning. We didn't really make a company announcement, like, hey, everybody, we're leaving. And I believe we probably had 30 to 40 people who showed up at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning on their own to launch us off. I mean, all 3 personnel and parts were here. It's like, what are you doing here? We came to sing you off. Very, very telling of who they are, what the soul of Million Airess is. That was a very special moment.
You spend more time with these guys than you do your family. They become your second family. And when they're going across the pond in a plane that we worked our butts off for the past 2 weeks, it was a little emotional when he took off and, we gave him all right, boss, there you go.
We all said our goodbyes and farewells and hopped in the airplane, started it up, went and did our run-up, blasted off, headed toward Alexandria to our first fuel stop. And and everything was running smooth. It was a great takeoff, a great departure.
I was probably looking at my phone every 15 minutes. I was following, and no matter what he was doing, we would text, hey, did you see they landed? Hey, they took off.
Roger Woolsey here. Just wanting to say good morning to everybody. We're about to leave right now. We're in good old Goose Bay, Canada. About to make the first crossing on the Blue Spruce Route. We're about to go to Narsarsuaq, Greenland. After that, we're going to continue, if the weather allows us, on to Reykjavik, Iceland.
And that's when we learned from that leg, from Syracuse to Goose Bay, just how cold it was going to be going across. That was our first taste of the bitter cold.
During the war, the A-26 Invader and others took the famed Blue Spruce Route to Europe. The North Atlantic crossing, nicknamed in World War II as the Blue Spruce Route, was a series of fuel stops to get to England. Each leg is roughly 650 miles or about 4 hours of flight time in the A-26 depending on winds. The route spanned from Goose Bay, Canada to Narsarsuaq, Greenland, then to Keflavik, Iceland, onward to Prestwick, Scotland, and finally to Duxford, UK. These crossings were fraught with danger, where lost radio communication and limited navigation equipment were common. This very aircraft made that journey, joining the 9th Air Force and entering combat just 2 months later, bombing precision targets on the eastern front of Nazi-occupied Europe.
The water in Greenland is as blue and see-through as the Bahamas. You've got snow-capped mountains, you've got the floating icebergs in the water, you got this little lonely strip. And we came in, we had picked up a little bit of ice on the descent, but it wasn't completely overcast, but there were some clouds. So of course when we're coming in, we're building up a little bit of that ice in the middle of all these mountains, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Greenland. And when you land, again, the feelings of that overwhelming, like this is what the soldiers went through in World War II. They made that same crossing, but they did it with bad radios. They had low experience. These pilots have been flying 1 to 2 years, and they are also mentally under the stress of they're going to battle. But as we're crossing, every landing was meaningful because that meant we're that much closer. Because honestly, we didn't know if we would make the full crossing. I mean, we passed 2 DC-3s that had broken down along the way. And it's like, well, you know, that could be us.
There you go. Then zip that up. Sweet.
I mean, we might as well, just for safety reasons, keep doing the same thing. So top the aux, top the main, and then do you remember what we had over here when we landed? We've got a storm moving in right now. We got about 2 hours to beat that storm out. There is an active volcano on the island. Can you imagine that? It's like there's got to be a few challenges along the way, but it's still a great trip. Crew's holding together. The maintainers have been working, keeping everything running smooth, and we're just continuing the journey.
And Reykjavik, Douglas 26 Bravo Papa.
November 26 Bravo Papa, Reykjavik ground.
Yes, we're ready to start engines like to pick up IFR to WWII, Echo Golf Papa Charlie.
November 26 Bravo Papa, start up route, clearance to Echo Golf Papa Charlie via flight plan route, flight level 110 and squawk 2277.
9 minutes to the hour.
26 Bravo Papa, contact Gander 120.4 wind airborne, wind 040 at 2 from Bravo Clipper, takeoff runway 26.
You have a great day, Bravo Papa, on the roll.
You go.
Okay, Invaders, ready?
Yep, 30-inch jack. 30-inch jack here.
And Gander departure. Douglas 26 Bravo Papa, checking in 500, climbing to 1000.
November 26 Bravo Papa, Gander Center, good day. You are radar identified, clear direct in, so flying to 1000.
We have now flown all those legs, and now we're coming into WWII. As we're approaching WWII, you're coming into the shoreline, and you've got these giant sea waves, and you're hitting the European, kind of continent for the first time. This is the original control tower, only 1 or 2 left in the country from World War II. So it's a very nostalgic stop. It's exciting, and we're just about a day away from Normandy. That was a big deal, but probably even a bigger deal was from there we went right into Belgium. We went to Antwerp. And as we're coming over Antwerp, it was again the aircraft, the sun was setting, we're coming in, and those were heavy battlegrounds. And this aircraft had been in these battles in this continent, based out of the UK, at one point Belgium, had fought over Belgium.
The A-26 proved to be a formidable force during the closing months of World War II. Between October 1944 and May 1945, this aircraft flew 11,567 sorties, delivering over 18,000 tons of bombs. Its relentless missions were crucial in supporting Allied operations and hastening the end of the conflict.
Bravo Papa, wind 080 degrees, 2 knots, runway 11, clear to land.
Clear to land, 11, November 26 Bravo Papa. Right there. Throttles back.
All the way back.
Wind 180 degrees, 7 knots, variable between 140 and 240
We built
degrees.
tailwind,
Minimum
not the
3
avia,
knots,
anti-friend wing.
maximum.
It's 122905. It's one more than the ground. So I will call Braschaat when you do the low pass.
Okay.
But I will tell you every time, okay, going over to 122905, push, and then I'll switch over.
Tower, Oscar, Whiskey Hotel Kilo, 20 for departure to 9. Whiskey Hotel Kilo, wind 180 degrees, 9 knots, runway 29, clear for takeoff.
about to leave my friend Bernard behind. We're headed down to France. Then the Normandy events began. Utah Beach, a D-Day squadron, we're on our way. So we'll be there very shortly, and we can't wait.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine.
Flying over Normandy Beach was kind of emotional. We had done something our forefathers had done, basically in the same vintage aircraft, with all the ships and everybody getting ready for the celebration. It was just a touching moment, really.
When Miss Million Airess finally met up with the Commemorative Air Force and D-Day Squadron in Cherbourg, we were thrilled here. Everyone could finally breathe a sigh of relief. It just felt like such a big accomplishment that we had all come together for these 3 weeks and we made this thing happen. We defied the odds.
I'm going to. I always will. That is fantastic.
We actually had a vet come up. His name was Sydney, and I believe Sydney was 101 years old.
Tennis aircraft was at the Battle of the Bulge.
It was in the Battle of the Bulge. Isn't that fantastic? Thank you. Goodness.
This is Rob. He's a pilot of this aircraft.
How are you?
I had to talk to you quietly.
Oh,
You
no.
know what you're doing.
No, sir, not really.
My kind of guy. Well, thank you for coming over. Am I going to take a ride?
Yeah, I would love to take you for a ride. We would love to get you in that airplane. Yes, sir. So
You can lift me in. I'm all the way.
we can do it.
Rob, Sydney was 17th Airborne. He was at the Battle of the Bulge.
This airplane was in the Battle of the Bulge. This airplane. Not just the A-26 airframe, but that is actually in the logbooks of this airplane.
Well, you
yes,
must
sir.
have flew over me very quickly.
Well, hopefully she played a small role, you know.
I'm sure she did. And we saw like the first plane coming over. You should have heard the cheer. I think you should have been able to hear it. It was so loud. So happy to see you guys dropping the.
You just couldn't help but be misty-eyed and teary-eyed just to know how many people died on that beach and how many people didn't make it back home.
Well, today's the day, June 6th. Here we are, Utah Beach in Normandy. It's quite incredible. We got up this morning at 4 a.m., started the drive to get here to the beach. The traffic was incredible. You cannot see the people, but there must be, I've done enough concerts to kind of estimate people. There's got to be over 50,000 people on this beach, no exaggeration. You've got people dressing up as soldiers from every country. We've had already a bunch of parachute drops from the Netherlands, the Brits, the Americans. You can't describe it, but we're just thrilled to be here. It's such a great part for the Millionaire Tribute. tour to be a part of this and a part of Normandy, it can't be touched. It's history in kind of a final chapter. It's something to be held. Glad to be here.
We literally thought we would take one day to see France and we were going to come right back to the United States. But really what happened was the A-26 got such an incredible welcome. There were so many people that were touched by the aircraft. We had heard that it had been over 60 years since one had made the crossing. It was something like 18, 20 years since one had landed in England. They haven't seen one at the D-Day celebrations and who knows when. So our first invite was to Warsaw, Poland, but within 2 days of being in France, in Normandy, we had 14 airshow and military invites. People just wanted to see this aircraft. I mean, she played such a strategic and important role from World War II to the Cold War operations, post-war, out of Belgium, France, England, Poland, all those bases. So we just kind of felt a little bit of a duty and increase our original purpose, which was to really promote kind of a tribute to our past, our vets. One of the teammates said, well, it was like paddling out and we caught, the monster wave. And so we've just been, for now over a month, we've been riding the wave. We meant to be gone a week and we're almost on 5 weeks right now.
So we flew from Cherbourg to Warsaw, Poland, and we got invited to an air show over there, and we met some of the greatest people.
After departure of A-26, and then we're just going to be left traffic pattern towards Juliet, Papa Echo Delta. Have a traffic ready.
There he is.
He's proceeding.
Got him on your left.
Below 1,500. We got him. Echo Delta. Follow me, Roger. That's correct.
The A-26 and the MiG-15 fought on opposite sides back in that day, and it was just a weird feeling that we had two of them on our wings. It was Bart and Matt, and they escorted us right on into Warsaw, and it was the most humbling feeling ever.
So we were sitting in France. We were about to come back to the United States, and then one of our good friends in Million Air, Archer, called, who is with Full Force, one of the greatest acrobatic pilots out there, called and said, you've got to come to Warsaw. So we flew to Warsaw. We actually flew in the air show today. It was the first air show that Million Air actually participated in, that we were actually a flying act. So we did a flying act, did some head-ons, did some really great crowd pleasers. And as we're about to land, the control tower comes on and says, hey, A-26, you've got something leaking out of your left engine. And it ends up, we had a quite heavy fuel leak. We ruptured a left fuel line. So here we are in Warsaw and trying to get the aircraft fixed. Now, if you can pan over and see our really good friends with our MiGs, they said, we've got that fuel line back in our hangar. So they jumped in a MiG, flew it back to their home base, found the lines. They literally just showed back up with them, and now Rob and Wilbur in the background here, Million Air maintenance team, are actually trying to fit this fitting and put the fuel line on. Here come some of our pilots now. Bart, it's going to be great. So anyway, thank you very much. This is our delivery, the best in class in Warsaw. If you ever need anything in Warsaw, you need to know Bart.
Anything slower, we are burning the same gas, but much slower, yeah?
For the distance you came here, we really appreciate that. And I'm the Chief of Air Traffic Services. That's our patch. That's a symbol of the guy who was flying that aircraft during the Second World War.
Yes.
So Military Air Traffic Service Minsk Mazowiecki. Appreciate your flight.
My God, that is great. That's great.
Thank you, sir. And that's the symbol of Kościuszko. You know Kościuszko?
Yes.
Yeah, that's our base symbol of.
As they were explaining in there with me.
Okay, Roger. Push 135.425.
This guy's crazy. Look at him. He's on your left. Right on your left wing. Hey,
I know.
That dude is good.
I told you.
We've been on the road 2 to 3 weeks, a lot like being on tour. And we had a small mechanical where we wanted to get a few things done, and it wasn't anything major. It was a 1 or 2 day job. But we thought, let's take a break. Let's hit the pause button. So we went home, spent a week back in the States, flying our big brother commercial airlines. We flew back into Europe, picked back up where we left off, and just hit the road again. And again, we thought we'd be in Europe for less than a week, crossing back the Atlantic to head home. And again, the invites continue to come.
Blasting off out of Antwerp, we were getting close to Salzburg. The controller comes on, says, "Invader, you're going to be intercepted." And we're like, "What?" And Q's back there sleeping.
I'm an airplane sleeper. I will fall asleep before we can leave the runway.
Tapped him on the shoulder, says, "Hey man, look
out the window. That's an airplane." So it's like, in the moment of me waking up, is what did Roger do?
"Oh my God, our airplane! What did we do?" And then he sees the Red Bull on it, and he's like, "Oh, okay. Here we have a Mustang on the left. Of course, they're on the right."
Center, Invader, Douglas 26, Bravo 5, flight level 80.
November 26, Bravo Papa, Salzburg radar identified. Expect straight in ILS approach, runway 15, the wings 320 degrees, 3 knots. There's an aircraft formation that wants to join you and to escort you.
5,000 would be appreciated. Good day, Invader. We are P61 at the course there.
But this is the year 1944. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground.
Thank you, Raymond and Roger. That was a great welcome.
Hello.
How are you? The Million Air Tribute Tours brought us all over Europe. We've had the best time everywhere from Belgium to the UK, France, been in Poland, and we've now find ourselves in Salzburg, Austria at the Hangar 7 at Rebel.
When we pulled up and shut down, everybody just came out to greet us and view the airplane. And out pops the head mechanic over there, and he's walking around the airplane doing his, normal mechanic walk around type thing, and he's like, "Uh-oh," and we're like, "What?" He goes, "Your brake disc is kind of floating around in there." Look at there. So it is. We've been looking for brake pucks. We can't find any. He goes, "Oh yeah, there's a reason for that. I have them all." So they changed the brake pucks for us, and they actually did it because with my little toolkit, we didn't have anything to do that with. So.
Talk about camaraderie and great friendship and how aviation is such a family. This is Don. This is our savior. The Miss Million Airess loves this man. So thank you very much, Don.
Now go look after my baby.
Go look at yours. Thank you. It's awesome.
So
thank you.
Say goodbye to the guys.
The A-26 played a big role in the later part of the war and even the Korean War, and so we really wanted to go to Berlin.
The D-Day squadron had gone a couple of days before us, and then we showed up.
The crew went to Berlin to see Checkpoint Charlie, the division between East and West Germany during that post-war Cold War era.
Well, here we are at the Epic Center in Berlin. Our Million Air tribute tour has taken us across the Atlantic Ocean and now Germany. So right behind me, Checkpoint Charlie. Right here, this is the dividing line between the East and the West that stood for so many years. After World War II, from 1961 to 1989, this was the division between the modern day and those of the past. Great Berlin Wall, a symbol of the separation between East and West Berlin. It stood for nearly 3 decades and was originally conceived to be the most secure border at that time. Its fall in 1989 brought about reunification of Berlin and ended Soviet occupation of Eastern Europe.
Well, you know, we'd been there for a month. It was getting close to closing in on Oshkosh, so we really needed to start heading back. We couldn't get customs out of Berlin, so we flew back to Antwerp, Belgium. That's when she started telling us that she needed a spa day.
I think the Invader loves Antwerp, right? Because we keep coming back. We intend to kind of go from Germany all the way over to Duxford, and then customs can't meet us out of Germany. So what do? We come back to Antwerp. I mean, every time this aircraft even gets close to Antwerp, she has to pull in and land.
The aircraft had flown more in the last 2 months than it had in the last 10 years. The crew cleared customs in Belgium and then made their way over to Duxford, and it has very rich history in World War II aircraft. They have Spitfires. They have one of the largest collection of antique warbirds in Europe.
Duxford's Europe's largest aviation museum. It's actually located on a First World War airfield. The hangars were actually built right at the end of the First World War, but it was used by the RAF. Douglas Bader and his big wing during the Battle of Britain were based here, defending the UK. Later, 1942, 8th Army Air Force, they had their first fighter group here. The 78 Fighter Group were based here for the duration of the war. They even had a visit from the King and Queen of England at the base. That's how important it was considered.
So we're tootling along, and we cross the shoreline for England, and the left engine decides she needs love too. So she starts giving a little pop here and a little bang there. Did some troubleshooting, found out that we had, some bad leads on the left engine, some issues with the right. So we started hunting parts.
When we went to D-Day, we fully expected to be gone basically 12 days. We left on June 1st, really meant to be back in New York by June 12th. The trip really expanded much greater than any of us thought. And then as the trip was expanding, Oshkosh was compressing. And as that started happening, the aircraft, the A-26, went into maintenance at Duxford, and then we started airlining some parts in from the United States. And they kept getting locked up in customs and in shipping.
Million Airess is such a diverse company that anybody will do anything to help you out. Doesn't matter what it is.
Carlos got the phone call, and we had the idea of getting a suitcase and throwing all these items, loading it up, packing it like we're going on vacation. But we're sending the A-26 for us over there in a suitcase with a gentleman to drop it off.
And as soon as he walked through the door with those parts in that suitcase, man, it was just everybody just went up and hugged him. Hey, Roderick, you made it. Thanks for the parts, man. You're a superhero. And then we took those parts, put them on the airplane, and then decided we needed more parts.
Everybody back at the home camp at Million Air Corporate, Million Air headquarters, the entire team was just in full throttle trying to find multiple parts. So, literally, we needed a magneto.
So during this maintenance, we have a guy that comes up and he says, hey, I think I've got a pair of A-26 mags in my barn. And we're like, Well, yeah, where else would you find A-26 parts? Besides outside in a barn in the middle of nowhere in England.
We're following our friend. Just left Duxford Airport, I don't know, a half an hour ago, and we're dodging bicycles. There's a big race on the highways, but we're headed to a barn, I think, where there's a box of parts, A-26 parts, they claim. So we're gonna go see if we can get ourselves a harness, some wires, and who knows, maybe some extras.
That's our harness.
March the 6th, 1944, the day they were making that, those are new B-17 inlets. The day they were making that was the first big daylight on Berlin. I think we need to get it out and look at it. Go on. Oh, that's got to be Invader because it's not 17.
Are they the same mags we have, GE? So they can overhaul those too. That'd give you something to work with.
Yep.
A core to rebuild. Why do you have a case of A-26 parts?
Well, there's a bit of everything in there. We had to chuck a load of gear out, and there's a few bits.
You know what's amazing about this stuff is we hang on to it for years, we never do anything with it, and then all of a sudden one day it's like
that dad.
Somebody needs it. Yeah, Toby.
Yeah, a little bit.
Over here holding it.
Yeah, Toby.
Hey, how heavy is that?
Come on, Quentin. About 50, 60.
It's definitely a rebuildable core.
Well, why not then?
Why not?
Lift it. It's heavy. Watch his curtain rail.
Well, we are in the country, which is exactly in England, which is exactly where everybody goes to buy A-26 parts. I mean, right? I mean, look here. It's hedges. There's fields.
Cows.
There was a real nice manure pile about 9 foot tall. No, it's actually like Barnstormers or the show where American Pickers. I mean, it's literally that. So we went in the pile. We found it looked like we could overhaul these magnetos, which is great. We need those. Actually, a fuel pump that looks like it's never been used. So, well, it's got a yellow tag. Admittedly 1966, which does mean we have to overhaul it. It's not going to be usable, but today. But it's amazing. A-26 parts out in the middle of nowhere, UK. We found some parts.
While the crew was in Duxford, they needed to make sure that they were really prepared for the return trip back home. So need to make sure that we re-go through inspections of the aircraft, make sure everything is seamless, and we're ready to go.
Not only our efforts, we even have volunteers led by Chris right here in England. And the entire team is going full throttle, full steam, afterburners engaged, because our goal is to be at Oshkosh. We're going to be at Oshkosh.
A couple of days turned into a couple of weeks, and ARCO went through the aircraft. We knew they were going to have the same attention to detail that our mechanics back home did, just with more tools than our maintenance team on the road had in hand.
So a lot of people, when they visit Duxford, they'll take some time out in Cambridge City, which is just a few miles away. And there's a really famous bar there. So the pub is actually called the Eagle, but there's a bar called the RAF Bar, or sometimes called the Airman's Bar. And back in the Second World War, the RAF and the United States Army Air Force, as well as other forces, they would have some downtime, and they may head into Cambridge if they didn't have a pass to get into London for a few days. They'd head to the bar. Maybe they had a little bit too much of the English beer, but they started writing on the ceiling, marking their names, their squadron, and obviously other airmen from different units came in there, and it became a competition.
You know, before we go in, I brought a little surprise. I hear there's patches in here. So we're gonna have the Miss Million Airess. We're gonna see if we can find her a home. Let's go see if we can do it. They have to come.
They bring him into Cambridge, but also bring him here because of this route. Wow. Yeah, it's
That's
a great
crazy.
thing. It's good.
That's great. So I don't know if you saw that. So on the roof is actually from World War II. All the aviators of World War II, the Royal Air Force, the United States Air Force, and all the Allies that were based right here in England that were fighting in World War II were signing their autographs right here on the roof. They're still here, preserved, respected by the people at all times. There's no damage, no camouflaging. It's just very, very special. No?
You can do anything you want here to get your patch up. And it's lit up. 100%.
The Miss Million Airess.
Nice
Thank
one.
you.
You're welcome.
Well done, thank you. It's cool. Flew all the way across the continent just to hang the patch. Almost. All right.
Nearly after they got caught lip syncing.
So the trip to get back is also this domino effect because we have to stop in Wick because we needed survival equipment, we needed rafts. I mean, we're crossing the Atlantic Ocean. I think the human body can only last like 2 minutes in that water if you're not on the raft, and 19 minutes even in a survival suit. So we had to get all this equipment through Wick. Well, Wick is closed on Saturdays, and even Greenland is closed on Sundays. So we literally have to get through these gates just in the right amount of times for the overnights and for everything to work right. So
we get all our parts we need. We put the mags on the engines. We put the lead on the left engine, mags on the right engine. Fire everything up. Roger does a little test flight, and then he gives us a thumbs up.
We did get to stop at a few military bases on the way out. And for me, that's important. Just like we wanted to show our veterans in the past, what they've done is important and still carries on to this day. It's also great to show our members serving now that they're still appreciated and we still want to thank them. I remember being that guy on the ground, working, sweating off everything. So that was a great experience as well. Next thing you know, I'm in front of a plane starting the engine, so flag it up.
A little sad leaving, but the girl has been at Aircraft Restoration Company for a week. She's had a small week, really a week and a half. They really tweaked her, did a test flight yesterday. She's never ran this great. We're going to be leaving today. We're going to make our first stop at Wick. We're waiting on the fog to lift a little bit up there, but we're going to be fine when we get into Wick. Going to make a tech stop there in Scotland, then we're going to continue on and we do our first crossing across the Atlantic.
We leave Wick, and air traffic control gave us a shoreline departure all the way up till we got to Duxbury, the Duxbury Head. And I had no idea that Scotland was even that beautiful. The sun was chasing us as we move into Iceland. Get to Iceland, again, just spectacular. We got to see the volcanoes. We saw the fjords. We were coming in with the glaciers. Came back in, did another quick turn, then off we went to Green. Saturday, we made it through Greenland because, again, they close on Sunday, so we made it all the way through to Canada, to Newfoundland. Sunday, a whole new set of problems started coming up because we're trying to clear customs in the U.S.
The last leg to Oshkosh was Vermont, in Burlington, Vermont, where we had to clear customs because Syracuse, the customs were closed. We cleared customs in Burlington, Vermont, and then took fuel again, oil again, and then blasted off for Wisconsin to Oshkosh. And let me tell you, when you're coming in that airspace, everybody's on lookout for airplanes because they're on top of you, below you, beside you, adjacent to you. And we're just calling out, trying to help Roger navigate the airspace. I got him in sight, got this guy in sight, there's one below you at 12 o'clock.
A-26, traffic is a half-mile final, clear to land on the numbers. Additional traffic off your right side is going to be following you.
Okay, let's stop slowing it up and got the traffic on the right and the traffic landing.
So Sunday night, for opening day into Oshkosh, we made it. So we literally landed Sunday night as the sun is setting. It was a beautiful setting. It was almost like God painted the sky to say, hey, well done. I'm so proud of everybody and all the roles they played. Because like I said, it's a chain where they're one link and we wouldn't have made it. The spirit of the men and women of Million Air, they do not take no for an answer. They're always seeking to get to yes. They believe in the impossible, and they, more than anything, they keep them flying.
When everybody said we couldn't do it, we did it, and we pulled it off. We made it happen, and it's just been a humbling, gratifying experience for me.
There's a lot of noise happening in the world, and when you get moments like that make you remember what we're doing and why we're doing it, it's one of those things that keeps us going. If you're a Million Air, you may not be an aviator, but you become one. Live to fly.
Live to fly.
We live to fly.
We live to fly.
We live to fly. Here at Million Air, we live to fly.
One, two, three, four. On the road again. Just can't wait to
This song's been stuck in your head all morning. It has. It's just too funny.
Music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again.
Is that GoPro still recording? I think so. It's flashing a red. Flashing red means good. That's good. We do not have a blue on the other one, though. Say again? Negative blue on the other one. Okay. We'll figure that out. We have plenty of legs to make it work. Let the world go our way. Which way, Wilbur? Our way, Wilbur. The road again. There we go. On the road again. Come on, Ethan. I was making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again.